Oh, better? Can you hear me? So, raring to go.
Yeah.
I'll start again then. Good evening, everyone. We're continuing our chats about our common household products such as shampoos and soaps and the like. And a different one tonight. Thought we'd talk about parfum. It's a word that you see a lot added to ingredients of all these kinds of things. And a lot of people think it's perfume. And I think that's the reason this word has been chosen, because it's very similar to perfume, but actually it's very different in its meaning. So it's not what you call a discrete thing like we've been talking about before, certain discrete chemicals, compounds. This is a massive umbrella of things that come under this name. And they're all, well, the vast majority is synthetic chemicals, but you can actually have some natural ones as well that comes under this list as well. So basically, parfum is kind of the definition is anything that's added to a substance to give it a smell. Now, it's not strictly true. It can be something that could be added to it to help the smell or stabilize and preserve the smell. So it's not always something that stinks. Its main use is as a smell. So what are the kind of things you find this in? The usuals: body wash, soaps, cosmetics, shampoos, conditioners, your household cleaners and cleansers. I've left that on there, personally. It could be in there. Creams, lotions, medicines again. Two to note here is that a lot of these things like air fresheners especially, and a lot of your candles and wax melts use what they call fragrance oils, which is more or less the same thing. They come under this umbrella. So yeah, be careful. Look at these when you're getting these, especially air fresheners. I won't have them in my house. So the reason they use this word is basically so they can get away with putting a lot of different things in that aren't necessarily A, tested, or B, what you call safe. And it comes under this because for some reason, if it's a scent or something like that, they don't have to list the ingredients because it's seen as a proprietary information. So basically they own that formula, so they don't have to tell people what that formula is. So under that definition, all the people who use this stuff, the big companies, have set up this organisation called the IFRA. That's the International Fragrance Association. Now, you'd think that was like a regulatory body, say like a government body. No, it's not. It's actually been set up by the companies that make this stuff. So it's self-regulating. So basically the same people that make and use this stuff are the same people that are supposed to look after it and keep it safe. So I'll leave that up to you how you want to infer that one. But even this has been an eye-opener for me, because I'd looked into it years ago and I knew that it was like an umbrella term for certain chemicals and all that kind of thing. But there's a list on this association, and I'll post a link to this afterwards. I'll definitely do that and remind me this time. And I thought there'd be, say, a couple of dozen, perhaps 50 chemicals on there. 3,000 chemicals are on this list that they can use in parfum and not have to say what it is. The majority of them have never been tested properly to see their effects on people. And this is how they're getting around a lot of the regulations and things with these smells that they put in. So obviously to go on about 3,000 individual chemicals, that, you know, would be here till next year at least. So I thought I'd just pick a few off the list that jumped out at me at random. These aren't particularly the worst or anything like that. They're just some that I kind of recognise. So one of the things that comes under Parfum are phthalates. Now, I don't know if people have heard about these. There's been controversy for 25, 30 years about these now. They're used as plasticizers, mainly. But in this context, they're mainly used to kind of stabilize the smell. They make the smell linger. No one knows how that works, but it just does. They must solubilize the smell or something, or perhaps trap the molecule in this shape. This kind of shape is renowned for trapping things like metals. The main one, this is the structure here, and R. The main one is, this one here, the ethyl. So R would be CH3, sorry. Well, phthalates have also been connected with things like sensitizing, irritation, and male fertility. This is from the Suzuki Foundation. Is generally talking about Parfum itself, but they do focus in on the phthalates. Of the thousands of chemicals used in fragrances, most have not been tested for toxicity alone or in combination. And that's another thing. When you start mixing these things together, you could get synergistic effects, reactions going on. Who knows? And there is kind of proof of that, because when they make perfumes, they tend to have to let it age. So that suggests to me that there are some sort of chemical reactions going on in there to make this, alters the smell. Many of these unlisted ingredients are irritants and can trigger allergies, migraines, asthma. A survey of asthmatics found that perfume and or colognes triggered attacks in nearly 3 out of 4 individuals. There's also evidence suggesting that exposure to perfume can exacerbate asthma and perhaps even contribute to its development in children. UK researchers have reported that perfume is the second most common cause of allergy in patients at dermatology clinics. It's no wonder when you see this list. In addition, in lab experiments, individual fragrance ingredients have been associated with cancer and neurotoxicity, among other adverse health effects. There's something about the musks there. I'll leave that to last. Did I put that structure on? I didn't, did I? Right. I wrote it on the back. Right. I'll come back to that, because I just thought that was sort of funny, even though it's not funny. It's a reference here to the phthalates. Phthalates are choice ingredients in cosmetics because they're cheap and versatile. However, the European Commission on Endocrine Disruption has listed diethyl phthalate, the main one that's used in cosmetics and whatnot, as a Category 1 priority substance based on evidence that it interferes with hormone function. So there's another one. Estrogenic effects and all that. Yet another one. So this is the 4th one in a row now, isn't it? Phthalates have been linked to early puberty in girls, reduced sperm count in men, reproductive defects in developing male fetus when the mother is exposed during pregnancy. Phthalate metabolites, that means the breakdown products, are associated with obesity and insulin resistance in men. Health Canada notes evidence suggesting that exposure to phthalates may cause liver and kidney failure in young children when products containing phthalates are sucked or chewed for extended periods. That's important because with them being plasticizers, they go into a lot of kids' toys. Now, I think there's a few countries who've actually banned them from the plastics that are used in kids' toys, but we're importing a lot of stuff from China. It's going to get through. I can't believe they test them all. So be careful what you're buying for your kids. I hate to sound like a doom-monger, but these things are everywhere. This is why we're trying to highlight what's going on with them. The more you can reduce your exposure, the better. Lab analysis of top-selling cologne and perfumes identified an average of 14 chemicals per product not listed on the label, including multiple chemicals that can trigger allergic reactions or interfere with hormone function. So basically they're confirming what we're saying, that these things don't have to be listed. They just call it Parfum. Get away with it. Well, that's the phthalates. What's next? I thought I'd pick on this next one because I've actually used this stuff. I know what it smells like, which isn't very pleasant actually. For some reason I use it. It's probably to give it punch, a smell. Yeah, so our next friend that I found on the list is something called pyridine. This is actually used a lot in chemistry because it's a really good solvent. But it's not really good for us. It's also great as a reaction driver. I've actually used it like that in that sense myself. But it forms salts that are very easily removable. So if you're making something like an ester from what they call an acid chloride, this will form readily with the chloride. So that pushes the reaction. It swings the equilibrium right over to drive the reaction. So yeah, I've done quite a bit with pyridine. Fortunately, I've not sniffed it. This is from Public Health England. So it's actually on their list, pyridine. It's a well-known thing that's known to be toxic. Used as a solvent for paints, rubber, we've said that. Food and cigarette smoke are biggest sources of exposure for pyridine in the general population. So watch them cigarettes. Breathing in pyridine may cause irritation to the eyes, nose and throat with vomiting, headaches and dizziness. You'd have to breathe a lot to get that, I must admit, but this is what it does to you. Ingestion can cause sickness, abdominal pain and diarrhea. Pyridine can cause irritation, swelling and redness to the skin. Again, where's it going? Exposure to pyridine can cause drowsiness, mood changes, weakness and insomnia. Repeated exposure over a long period may cause damage to the liver and the kidneys. So that's my own Public Health England. This is very small print. This is about its effect on male fertility. It's a lot of places are like denying that this is actually true, but the evidence is here. This is from, I think this is Science Direct, this one. I think so. Yeah, so what it does, especially in blokes, it gets in and it actually attacks the tissue in your testicles. It weakens the tubes where the sperm are made. It disrupts them, makes them unravel. I don't know if you've ever seen it's all coiled in it, and the blood vessels are very coiled. It causes them to weaken, stretch, sometimes even disintegrate. It also causes sperm to fall apart. So you see like the head separated from the tails, things like that. It's very very disruptive to especially the male reproductive system. Again, this stuff is put in there. They say it's for a sweet smell. I don't think pyridine smells sweet. I think it's quite acrid and almost garlicky. I don't think it's pleasant. But yeah, that's it's in there. So again, I can post this. It's based on a study that's been carried out. It's very small, that writing. I can post that one as well. But basically, it's saying that it disrupts the male reproductive system and the sperm. Nice stuff, eh? You wouldn't want to use it for that, would you? For your personal lubricant, say, oh, that smells nice. Another one I thought was interesting and quite unbelievable that they put this stuff in is isocyanates. These are the starting materials to make urethanes, polyurethanes. So most people have probably heard of those. It's in foam. Builders use that spray foam that's polyurethane. It's basically one of the first plastics. So it's still widely used. But these things, this group here is the isocyanate group. Very reactive. Really reactive group. So if this gets in your body, it will react with stuff.
Sharon says, just had a quick look at the ingredients in a certain popular brand of baby products. OMG.
Yeah, it's surprising.
No.
It probably says Parfum, does it? Yeah, isocyanates is well documented, well known for its effects. So this is from our very own HSE, Health and Safety Executive. So they're saying, asking why test. So what you normally do, I've not actually had this myself, but where I used to work, some people did work with isocyanates. I didn't personally. But if you work with those, you've got to be tested. And they test you once a year to see if it's building up in your bloodstream. But what it does, it's well known for attacking your lungs. So even you don't have to breathe it. You can get any route of exposure, it targets your lungs. Isocyanates are widely used in industry, in particular spray painting, foam manufacture, adhesives, but it is on this list for Parfum. Why they put it in there, I don't know. I can't see why they need that, unless it's some kind of thickening agent. I don't know. HSE recommends people using isocyanates undertake biological monitoring annually to check the exposure is being adequately controlled. Biological monitoring can be carried out by anyone who understands the principles. There's a reference there, but you may find it convenient to arrange annual isocyanate testing as part of your health surveillance. Yeah, it's just isocyanates compounds containing isocyanate group. They react with compounds containing alcohols, or they'll react with lots of things to produce polyurethane polymers. That's how they're usually used. So they go in forms: thermoplastic, elastomers, spandex, paint, but they also go in these. Printing, foam blowing, car seats. So health effects of isocyanate exposure include irritation of the skin and mucous membranes, chest tightness and difficulty breathing, Isocyanates include compounds classified as potential human carcinogens and known to cause cancer in animals. The main effect of hazardous exposures are occupational asthma and other lung problems, as well as irritation to the eyes, nose, throat, and skin. Gorgeous. Don't get me wrong, these things, when they're used properly, are really useful. But why put it in something that you're going to put on your skin or swallow, breathe in? I don't understand it. Don't get it.
There's just absolutely no need for them to be there.
I'm just trying to remember what it smells like. It's kind of like a tarry smell. Rings a bell, a bit like tar. I don't know if you can see this one down here at the bottom. This is 2-acetyl 2-thiazolene. That's the structure there. So it's a cyclic ring with like a ketone group. This is classified as acute toxic. So this is bad news. You get enough of that in you, you'll know about it. So I've not really come across this word being used much, but acute is like instant, innit? If you get something happens acute, it's like so straight away. Why do they use this one? Nice toxic chemical. It smells like tortilla chips. So why would they use that? It probably goes in food. Acute toxic chemical goes in food for tortilla chips smell. I just thought I'd mention that one. I don't know if there's anything on here they could use it for. Maybe for air freshener, probably. Perhaps to make things smell like baking bread. Maybe coffee.
Popcorn.
Yeah, anything like that, yeah. There's a few like that. There's one that smells like baking biscuits. Whose name I can't remember.
In supermarkets, don't they?
Yeah. And it's like the smell they put in cars as well, isn't it? All that type of thing. So yeah, it'll all come under this probably. Another one I thought I'd mention is they put styrene. This is what I mean. I'm just absolutely gobsmacked. Styrene. Now, you've heard of polystyrene. Polystyrene foam. Well, this is what it's made of. It's a polymer of this. They put that in because they say it's got a sweet smell. Again, I don't agree with that. If you smell styrene, it's that classic plastic smell. If you know what I mean. If you go, oh, I can smell plastic, chances are it's styrene that you can smell. This is so well known, its effects. It's irritating, it's toxic in large amounts, it's carcinogenic. It's that well known, there's actually a syndrome named after it, styrene sickness. So if you are exposed to this stuff, even chronically, you can end up with styrene sickness, which has this broad range of symptoms, like ranging from irritation to sickness and possibly even cancer. So, nice stuff.
I'm not saying, I mean, they could make a cocktail up of 30 different ingredients, couldn't they?
Yeah.
For one listing of parts.
So it said their typical is 14, is it? Yeah, this is another one about phthalates that I doubt this is from Science Direct. It's commenting on sperm quality. Multiple animal studies highlighted that phthalate exposure has been linked to adverse effects on androgen-regulated reproductive development, suggests further study in human sperm. The conclusion from this study was avoid it, and it can even cause behaviour-related issues in children. ADHD has been linked to it. So, you never know. Your kid's sucking on some plastic toy could cause this ADHD thing, who knows. Yeah, so I thought they're just a few examples of what comes under this umbrella. I'll post the list on.
You were going to mention about musk as well.
Oh yeah. Thanks for reminding me. I just where are we? So let's get rid of that.
Lisa Wells says there's so many natural fragrances, it's just unbelievable that these things are being used.
Yeah. They do use the natural ones as well, like, but because of the cheapness and all that kind of thing, they tend to go for the synthetic ones. And again, the effect on the environment from the synthetic chemicals, these things have all got to be produced. All takes energy, it produces waste, time, all that kind of thing, waste water to wash it all.
Very interesting question, and that's another can of worms there, Lisa. Would any of these components being used to stabilise vaccines?
Possibly. I think the well-known ones are formaldehyde, aren't they? Even mercury. Yeah, I can't see why not. I don't know, is the answer. I don't know what they put in these vaccines now. They don't seem to want to tell anyone, do they? It's another it's a topic for another time, I suppose, but I've looked into a lot of the vaccines. And one of the weirdest things I've seen that they put in is a substance called nagalase. They actually putting this into the vaccine. Nagalase is a protein, I think, that is produced by viruses. Now, when you get like a virulent virus attacking your body, it gets into the cell and it programs the cell to make nagalase, and that's released into the system around where it's infecting. What that does is extremely effective at switching off your immune system. Why are they putting that in a vaccine? Something to switch off your immune system. What you're trying to do is create an immune response with the vaccine. If there's a doctor who can enlighten me why, if there's a good reason for that, please let me know. But it seems counterintuitive to me. Why would you put something in that switches off your own immune system? Yeah, this is on a lighter note. Well, it is for me anyway, but one of these chemicals, I'm laughing because it's just so absurd. Just bear with me while I draw this out. Right, let's see, you've got that. I'm not sure if any people would recognise that. So I'll just carry on and finish.
I'm flattered that you think that we would understand that, darling. Thank you.
Well, I'll start with just one thing, because one carbon on a benzene ring like that is called toluene. And there's 1, 2, 3 nitro groups on it. Trinitro-toluene, TNT. This stuff is being used in Parfum. It's trinitro-toluene derivative. It's explosive. So you're getting explosive compounds in Parfum. It beggars belief. It's really shocked me as well looking into this one. But it's such a massive, massive thing to look at. You know, basically, if you put Parfum, it could be anything in there. anything they want. And a lot of them haven't been tested on human health.
It's going to be at least 14 of 3,000 chemicals.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm pretty sure it's not going to explode. But, yeah, an explosive chemical is going into your body. Basically, anything with a lot of nitrogen in, like that is unstable and explosive, usually. Yeah, so I found that both sad and amusing at the same time. And that's called musk xylene. So it's to give a musky type smell. It probably goes into, I don't know, but there are a lot of musk scents out there. So is it white musk is a popular one? Could be that.
Which is quite funny because me and Lisa were talking about white musk the other day.
Well, it won't surprise me. There's different versions of these musky smells, but that one leaped out at me. I couldn't believe it when I saw that.
Lisa Wells says quite an explosive topic.
Bubble, yeah. Yeah, if that doesn't get you charged, nothing will. Yeah, so if there's any questions, I mean, like I say, it's such a big topic. We could talk about it till the cows come home. There's so many things that could go into Parfum. So many. I can't believe it. It's at least 3,000. And I'll publish that list. So it's there for all to see. Hiding in plain sight, as they say.
Yeah. Well, first of all, you've got to have enough knowledge to go and look for something. Then you've got to know what you're looking for.
Yeah.
And then you've got to be able to decipher what it is you found. So, it's not straightforward, is it?
No. Well, I've no doubt that's been picked deliberately to confuse that word.
That's a nice, fluffy, friendly word, isn't it?
Well, Parfum sounds like perfume.
I always thought it was French for perfume. I just presumed that's what it was.
I mean, these are in perfumes as well. They used to make the scents in a lot of the perfumes. A lot of the studies in the things I've been reading have been about testing how they cause asthma and skin problems. Perfumes, it's the second biggest trigger, according to that. Be careful, guys. And we'll keep an eye out for your usual suspects, and especially these air fresheners. I've not used any of those for years. I can't stand them. All natural now. Again, I'll just reiterate that this is the reason why it's quite a serious reason for not using any of these things in our shampoos. It's not just for the sake of it, not just to be hip and all that kind of thing. It's a deadly serious reason. We don't put any of these in. We don't want them near people. So, all our stuff is completely free of this stuff. Any more questions?
Any questions?
I must admit, I was quite gobsmacked at this one. I just thought I'd pick a few random ones out of the list, like I said. But it is a massive bunch of chemicals that it encompasses. And the thing is, if you don't, we have to label, like we said last week, we have to label anything that's there over 0.001% in our stuff. These things in there, they don't have to label it, making their own rules.
Lisa says, as I was saying earlier on my live, the rise of people with cancer now is astronomical.
Yeah. Again, who knows? these effects could be cumulative as well. But your styrenes, things like that, they're well known for it.
Justin says it's so scary. How would we even get them to stop using them?
With your pocket, yeah, vault with your pocket. It's once they well, like I say, I mean, unashamed plug here. Our stuff is completely free of it, so you can use ours. But, if you can find any others that don't have it in, I'd recommend those as well. But I think you'd be hard pressed. I looked for them years ago. That's why we started making our own. It was the only way we could guarantee that they were free from all this stuff.
Christine says, would it be possible for you guys to make a list up for us so we can refer to them when we need to, please?
A list of ingredients that's in here?
Well, just ingredients to avoid, I presume. So like...
Yeah, we can do that. Your SLS, SLES, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Parfum. Yeah, we can do that.
Sharon says, I'm gobsmacked with the CDC and FDA let them get away with it.
Yeah, well, it's big industry, isn't it? FDAs and CDCs come under this, and they are used in medicines and tablets and things.
Lisa says I sometimes use scented tea like zinc. I'll be checking and chucking.
I would do, yeah. I don't like it. You can smell it. You get that kind of after smell, if you know what I mean. It's quite almost bitter. It's hard to describe. You just know it's artificial with a lot of them. Yeah, I mean, if you look at the heads of, I mean, this one is, like I said, that's self-regulating. So all the companies that are involved with this stuff are the same companies that make this list up and regulate themselves. So if you're going to make up a game, you'll do the rules to suit you, won't you? Mm-hmm. And I know that in the past, I've not checked for a while, but certainly in the past, a lot of the people who are responsible for your FDAs and people like that are the ex-heads of big pharma companies who are on the board, places like the FDA.
Jade says we need to make a washing detergent too.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, get it on your clothes, all that, you know, it's there.
How many people have skin reactions to washing powder?
Yeah. They blame it on the biological side of it, don't they? The enzymes and that, but who knows? Again, taken on its own, is it a massive amount? Is it a big effect? It certainly does have an effect, that's been proved, but it's cumulative as well. You know, the more of these you use on that list, the more of it you're going to get on you. The more of it goes into the wastewater, goes down into our water table. We drink it. Your normal purification of water won't remove things like this. Some of the bugs might eat stuff like isocyanate, perhaps even pyridine. But these have been shown, these build up in the environment, that's been shown. And a lot of the other things do too. Especially SLS, things like that.
Which one was it which was in Clinkle?
It's an adipic ester, whose name I can't remember. But the company I used to work for was a big manufacturer of it. I think it's adipic acid and butanol, ester of those two. Well, yeah, there was a big to-do, I think it's like 30 odd years ago now, innit? That these plasticizers in the cling film were leaching out into the food, especially if it was fatty, because this stuff is like fatty itself. It's fat soluble. So they changed a lot of those, I believe. They use different ones now. I don't know if they're using phthalates.
That's when they were saying don't put it in the microwave. I probably remember that. But that ingredient is in Parfum.
Yeah. Okay then. Anyone? Any more questions?
Everybody's just gobsmacked. What are we doing next week? Phenoxyethanol?
Yeah, phenoxyethanol, I think. It's another very common one. So yeah, we'll start looking at that. It's another one I've used.
And that's in everything.
Yeah. I've used it for a very different reason to what they use for in this. Like, what is a derivative of it.
I don't know if you don't want to just use it, you'll be able to spell out your head, won't you?
What?
Phenoxyethanol.
PHENOXYETHANOL.
Just so people know what they're looking for, because I like to have a look during the week.
I'll just remove the explosive chemical in case it goes bang. Phenoxyethanol. Most of us will probably recognise the ethanol bit. I have enough of that on a Saturday night.
Yeah, there's your homework for the week.
I'll publish that list. It's quite an eye-opener that's on the International Fragrance Association site. That's, if you want to look now. IFRA.
Lisa Wells says, thank you, Mark. Totally gobsmacked. Debbie says, thank you for your time and research, Mark. It's a minefield trying to find out this stuff on your own.
Oh, this one was a gobsmacker for me as well, wasn't it? Even my face was especially slightly explosive. But it's ridiculous. It's something that's supposed to be a nice smell, and they're putting all this in. It's a joke. Anyway.
Christine says I should be looking at everything now, making changes, that's for sure. Thanks, Mark. Really appreciate you doing this.
Nothing wrong with being a little bit paranoid. I always say that, don't I? Just a little. Yeah, you couldn't believe it when you first met me, could you?
Oh, I used to have to phone you to ask you what tomatoes I was allowed to buy when I was in the supermarket.
I'm like this at everything. Nope. But like we said, the alternative with certainly the shampoos and things like that, we just couldn't get any that didn't have this stuff in. Well, no, just apart from all of it. That's why we decided to make our own.
Yeah.
Right, so that's that. That's Parfum. Yeah, keep an eye out for it, gang. It's not good.
See you for the delights of phenoxyethanol next week.
There's no more questions then. I shall sign off. Thanks again for joining, and we'll see you next week. Take care.